Hi everybody, welcome back to Fire and Water Astrology. I'm Ashmin and today we're talking about Gemini Rising. So when you have a Gemini Rising, you have Gemini in the first house. It's the house itself, and when you put Gemini there, you're going to be ruled by Mercury. You're going to be somebody who needs a lot of intellectual stimulation, who comes off as more logical, but also kind of has this like warmth to your communication style. You're going to be somebody that gets along with a lot of different people, and you're typically are going to be the type of person to smile everywhere you go. One thing about Gemini risings is because they have the ability to adapt so easily, their mutable energy, they're going to be, they're going to have an easy time conversating with anybody, no matter what kind of person it is. You have a wide range of knowledge and you seek to know a little bit about everything, have your hand in a bunch of little different pots. So you might not exactly be deep, but you're going to be somebody well-liked. And you're going to crave a lot of mental stimulation and a lot of interaction with other people. You can really talk to anyone anywhere, and you're going to want to be seen as somebody intellectual, adaptable, fun to talk to. You're going to want to be very well liked. Now, because you're so adaptable, you might also be seen as wishy-washy, but that's just because you can kind of see like multiple sides of the situation, and you can agree with multiple sides of the situation. I'm going to move into the second house. Second house is a house traditionally ruled by Taurus and Venus. It's all about your personal belongings, what you have, what you own, what's yours. And we're putting Cancer there. So we're adding the moon and Venus together. And you tend to like keep your money and only really want to spend it on your home, on your family, and you probably want to have like nice things for your home. You'll spoil your family, you'll spoil your loved ones, but you'll typically be cheap everywhere else just because like financial security here is very important to you. Putting Cancer here, you're putting the moon here with Venus. So emotionally, you kind of have a little bit of security with your possessions. You attach a little bit of security with what you have, what you've earned. And a money struggle can be very emotional for you. It can also turn into an emotional struggle for you. Now, you can really make money through taking care of others, through nurturing others, through helping others, through taking care of children, family, home, etc. Many people with this placement might find that they're like pediatricians, or they work in a daycare, or they work in a school, or I know somebody with this placement that is a nanny. That's very typical for you because you might not even seek out this line of work. It might seek you out, or you might just do these types of things and end up making money this way. Now, third house. Third house is a house traditionally ruled by Gemini. This house rules your early childhood learning, early childhood communication, your siblings, and it really talks about that time early on in your life. So this is a house that's traditionally ruled by Mercury, but now we're sticking Leo here. So now we're adding the sun into the equation with Mercury. So when it comes to conversating with other people, you're going to be very theatrical. You're going to be a dominant speaker. You're going to be an entertaining speaker. And remember, when you have an ascendant, your ascendant sign isn't just determined by what's in that first house. It's determined by how all of these houses line up for you. So again, you are going to be a very captivating speaker in the first house. You're going to be very entertaining, not only because of Gemini in the first house, but also in your third house, you have the Leo. You know how to tell a story. You know how to make it sound like you know what you're talking about. And you're very confident in your speech. You have a very creative mind, and you do like to joke, you do like to gossip, you do like to laugh. You know, having Leo ruling this house, it's going to be very fun, very warm energy when you're conversating. You may be stubborn with your thoughts and ideas, and words can definitely, because remember, Leo is pride, so words can definitely hurt your pride. But again, it really depends on all of your placements. But typically, you like to sound like you know what you're talking about. You don't really like when what you're saying is challenged too much. You like to seem very confident in your speech, and you don't really like when people put what you're saying down. You know, it hurts you, hurts your ego, because a little bit of your ego is here and what you're saying in this third house. So also when it comes to your siblings, you're going to be very loyal. Again, in the second house, of like how you had Cancer in the second house, you're going to spend your money on your loved ones. Here in the third house, you're going to be very loyal to your siblings. Like, even though you might be wishy-washy with everybody else, even if you might flake out on your plans with your family, you're still loyal to them at the end of the day when you have this placement. And, okay, so fourth house. The fourth house is traditionally ruled by Cancer, the moon. It tells you about your mother. It tells you about your family life growing up. It tells you about your parents and kind of like how you felt at that time in your home. It will also tell you what you desire your home life to be when you grow older. And we're putting Virgo here. So we're putting Mercury into a house that's traditionally ruled by the moon. And when we put Mercury and the moon together, you really desire order and structure in the home. You really desire a clean and organized house. And you might be critical of your home, you might be critical of your family, and you might have a perfectionist view when it comes to these things. I know quite a few Gemini risings, and a lot of them, it's like when they searched for a house at first, like they might have thought that they found the perfect house, or they want a very nice house to live in, a very nice home environment to live in. But once they move in there, they see a lot of flaws with the house. They see a lot of flaws with their mother. They see all of their mother's flaws. They still love their mother very much, but it's just that Virgo is an energy that sees what is wrong, sees what needs to be fixed. So when you're putting that in the home, when you're putting that in the emotions, you have a very critical view of everything. And that's why Gemini risings aren't necessarily the most emotional people, just because they have a very practical view on their emotions. They have a very practical view. They see kind of like what's wrong in a situation, what needs to be fixed in their emotional well-being. So when it comes to like the home life, you're going to see everything that's wrong. You're going to see everything that your parents did wrong. Hopefully you're doing it so that you cannot repeat those same things, and you can perfect it when you become a parent. And you're more easygoing when you're younger, and then you become more intellectual with time. And like the perfecting quality, that's gonna come with time too. When you're a child, you might be like neat and organized, but you might just be more into like puzzle like things and like reading like things. They might like learning might comfort you in a way. Now, fifth house. Fifth house is a house of creativity. It's a house of children. It's a house of expression, self-expression. Well, that's a house traditionally ruled by Leo, traditionally ruled by the sun, how you can shine, make yourself shine. We're putting Libra in this house. So we're putting Venus into a house that the sun traditionally rules. So when we put Venus and the sun together, you like to have hobbies where you can engage with others. You like to balance, play with work. You while you'd like to balance your play with your work, it's going to be a struggle. Because remember, Libra is striving for balance. They're not necessarily balanced. So I know a lot of people with Gemini risings that they're either like workaholics or they struggle to like, they struggle with going to work in general. It's like kind of like a really imbalanced thing here. So, and then I know people who like, they go through periods of time in their time periods in their life where they're like workaholics for like a year, and then go through another period in their life where they're like, they might not even work at all, or they might just work part-time. And they'll focus more on like their social life. And regardless of how you do this or how this Gemini rising person does this, they're going to find their shine. They're going to find self-expression through relationships with other people. Through relating to other people, they find that self-expressive outlet. Now, when it comes to dating, they're going to be attracted to very charming people, very polite people, people who are refined, have that refined sense of style. And, you know, Gemini risings are going to have a hard time choosing someone because this is a very indecisive house. And it's the house of dating, the house of courting, the house of looking for someone you want to date or want to be with. And you're going to have a hard time choosing just one person. You probably have multiple options in your love life. Every Gemini rising I know has multiple courting options. Whether they pursue them or not, they have them in the back of their mind. If they're married, if they're dating someone, they still have kind of like other options readily available if they really wanted to pursue those. I'm not saying that every Gemini rising is going to be, you know, off and engaging all of these behaviors. That's not what I'm saying at all. It obviously depends on all your placements. But, you know, typically they're going to be indecisive when it comes to choosing one partner. Now, when it comes to children, this is the house of children. You're going to be very fair with your children, or you're going to try to be very fair with them. And you're going to try very hard to understand your children, which is very, very good. And you're probably going to have children who are heavily influenced by Venus, or have a lot of planets in the 2nd or 7th house, because those are the houses ruled by Venus. So, example, my dad has a Gemini rising, so Libra rules his 5th house. I have a Venus in Libra with my sun in the 7th house. My sister is a Taurus with her moon in the 7th house. My brother is a Libra, and I'm pretty sure that he doesn't have anything in the 7th house. But he has his, I believe it's his Venus in the 2nd house. So when you have this rising sign, your children are going to be very Venusian. Venusian children are going to be perceived, everybody thinks their children are attractive, okay? Let's be real here. Everybody's going to say that their children are the most attractive. But you're going to have very Venusian children. They're going to have attractive features. And maybe I won't say attractive because that's very subjective, but they're going to be very symmetrical features. And yeah, they're going to be harmonious. And you're going to try to really work with your children to do what you think is fair. You're not going to be an all or nothing parent when it comes to parenting. And yeah. And when it comes to dating, you like to do things with your partner that your partner likes to do, and you like to really have your partner active in your hobbies as well. You want to bring your partner around your friends. That's something very important to you. You want to meet your partner's friends. These types of things, these very Libra-like things, are going to be very important to you when it comes to dating and it comes to your children. Okay, and you're going to be very accepting of your children's friends, typically. Now, 6th house. 6th house is a house traditionally ruled by Virgo. It's a house of day-to-day life, ruled by Mercury, and it has to do with like your health, your mental health, your day-to-day routines. So like, not really your career as much as your job. where you go after you wake up every morning, what you do. And so now we're sticking Scorpio here. So we're putting Pluto in a house traditionally ruled by Mercury. So when it comes to your work, you're very, very serious about your work. You take that very seriously. You're obsessed with your choice of routine. Whatever your choice of routine is, you are obsessed with it. And for example, I know a lot of workaholics with the Gemini Rising, and they love their job. And a lot of them do work in healthcare because they're very friendly. Patients take well to them, and it's typically a job that you have to put in many hours, and they're pretty good at it. And then Scorpio ruling this house makes you want to be a healer, so you typically enjoy this type of day-to-day work. You have no problem throwing yourself into it. And then I know somebody who wasn't even in healthcare, but they just chose to really, really be into the fitness lifestyle, and they dive into like all the process of the body, like all the muscle groups, all the little details of chemical reactions in the body and what kind of foods do these types of things for them. So even though they didn't have a typical 9-to-5 job, they took their work very, very seriously. And they were very precise about what they were doing when they were calculating meal logs for people or workout routines. So whatever choice of work you choose to do, or whatever your day-to-day is, you're going to take it very seriously. It's going to be a very intense thing for you, and it's almost going to consume you. Yeah, so it might be intense for your coworkers or your neighbors. They might tell you that you need to settle down. People will see you as driven, intense, and when you're talking about these things, you might seem a little bit aggressive. It really depends on if you have planets here or not. And you work best independently, or when you have a leadership position in your day-to-day life. You have some kind of respect or power, and you're emotionally and intellectually drained easily, just because Scorpio being here. When you have water signs in this house, you really have to be careful with your health, because you need to constantly take that time to recuperate, revitalize your energy again, because you can be prone to negative health effects and anxiety, just draining yourself out too easily from really overexerting yourself and going so hard, because you'll go all or nothing when it comes to your day-to-day life, and it can be really draining for you. Now, you typically work best studying science, working in science-related things, research, or finance, where you're managing other people's money, maybe investing it, etc., etc. Okay, 7th house. 7th house is a house traditionally ruled by Libra. It's ruled by Venus. So it's all about what you want in a marital partner, what marital partner will work for you, what business partner will work for you. It's a house of partnerships. It's a house of harmony. So this is your descendant. It's behind you. It's what's deep down inside of you that you need a partner to mirror or reflect so that you realize it's there. So we're putting Sagittarius into this house. So we're adding Jupiter and Venus together. And you want a partner that has their own life. You want a partner that's free-spirited, free-thinking, has their own beliefs, but doesn't restrict you to those beliefs. Doesn't restrict you in anything. You want a partner who gives you freedom, because let's face it, you have a lot of things going on, and you like to do many things. You like to have your own things, and you need to have your own friends. And while you want a partner that will be involved in what you like and will enjoy what you like, you also want them to kind of have their own thing going on. You want a partner who can teach you something, because you like to know a little bit about everything. So you need a partner that can show you more things. a partner that has like a wise spirit and a wise presence and a happy presence, because you're a happy person, okay? You're a friendly person, so you need a partner who also has these qualities, a very warm quality, someone who smiles a lot, someone that makes you smile a lot. And commitment, because of Sagittarius in this house, you're not gonna really be ready to commit early on. You're gonna really, it depends on, the person, obviously, but you will typically do best if you wait until the later years to really settle down into a commitment or into a marriage. And so you need space. You don't want a clingy partner at all. You're bored very, very easily with a partner. So it's really important that this partner always kind of keeps you on your toes, is always like one step ahead of you, always keeps you interested. And you want a partner who is smart. Because let's face it, you see yourself as smart. You probably are smart. You like to read a lot. You like to get yourself into a lot of things. And you need a partner who can kind of keep up with you and challenge you to keep going and keep reaching new mental heights. You probably want a partner that has some sort of worldly experience, knows about other cultures, maybe is from a different background than you, maybe even from a different country than you, maybe yeah, I'm reading what I wrote here. So I wrote, you want a partner who has experiences different from your own, but even though those experiences are different, you guys can still draw the same conclusions and similar opinions at the end of the day. So that's 7th house. So let's go on to 8th house. The 8th house is all about death, rebirth, transformation, sex, your partner's money, your possessions of your partner, investments, and that's a house traditionally ruled by Scorpio, traditionally ruled by Pluto. We're putting Capricorn here. So we're putting a very serious energy. When we add Saturn and Pluto together, you're going to be very cautious, very responsible with your joint finances with your partner. You're going to prefer like traditional methods with your money and taking time to get where you want to be financially. You're not going to be very frivolous with like these like quick investment schemes or anything like that. You have no problem working hard, putting the money away little by little to get where you need to go, or to save what you want to save, get what you want to get with your partner. And you may be the one responsible for your partner's finances. Like, you might be the one responsible for the joint finances, that you're the one tracking it all and you're the one who takes care of it all. And when it comes to transforming, you're going to become more mature with time. You're going to evolve to achieve your goals. So what do I mean by that? What I mean is that when we put Saturn in a very transformative house, every time you transform, it's like you're going to mature with time. So that's another reason why it's a very useful energy having a Gemini Ascendant, and it's another reason why you probably want to wait until you're a little bit older to settle down and get married, because who you are in your younger years is going to transform, and you are going to become more mature. So you might find that if you get married early on, that your partner might find you to be immature, might find you to not be who they exactly want, might find faults with you. But if you waited a couple years to settle down, you would be that stable, mature partner who is very goal-oriented. 9th house. 9th house is all about higher education, traveling far distances. It's the house traditionally ruled by Sagittarius and Jupiter, and we're putting Aquarius here. So we're adding Saturn, Uranus energy into Jupiter. And the thing is, this actually goes very well because you're adding like a very unconventional sign into a very unconventional house already. So you're going to be someone that's very unconventional and original in your belief system, because this is all about your belief system. You might be a little bit more logical with your belief system, just because Aquarius is very more logical, and but you'll still be open to hearing about many beliefs, or you'll still be open, to many different types of belief systems and hearing about them and learning about them before choosing one that you want. You're going to definitely surround yourself with beliefs that are different to your own, obviously, because you're going to want to learn about them, for one. And two, you're not really going to tend to surround yourself with people who are just exactly the same as you. You like people who are different and kind of have different things to offer you and kind of teach you a little bit more about things that you didn't already know. Okay. Yeah, so you're going to be very progressive with your views and ideals. You're not going to be like a stick in the mud, like traditional. You're not going to have like a traditional way of your belief system. You're gonna enjoy travel, and you're gonna be open to travel, just because you're gonna have a little bit more of an exploring spirit. And sorry, I think I hear something. Yeah, so you're going to enjoy travel, and you like changing up your life. A lot of people with this placement, they might not have a lot of money, but they'll save their money specifically so that they can go on trips to different places. And they really enjoy that. 10th house is the house. This is your midheaven. So this is the house of how you want the public to see you, how you're seen in the public eye. And we're putting Pisces here. This is the house traditionally ruled by Capricorn. So we're adding this Neptune energy into a house traditionally ruled by Saturn. And you may have a difficulty finding a direction in your career, just because you do have your hands in a lot of different things. You have a lot of different interests. You're probably good at a lot of different things. And going back to Libra in the 5th house, you've probably tried a little bit of everything, So it might be difficult finding one set way early on in life. And it might just be easier if somebody tells you what to do. But you definitely would have no problem expressing yourself creatively. And even though Gemini in the 1st house, being ruled by Mercury, you might seem like somebody who's very logical. You seem like somebody who thinks through things a lot, because it's more of an air. It's an air sign, obviously. It's when it comes to making certain decisions, like life path decisions, you may lack practicality. So again, this is another reason why you mature with age, because Pisces is a very wise energy and very intuitive energy. But when you have that in your midheaven, you might be seen as somebody who's kind of all over the place, a little bit scattered everywhere. So again, with time, you will find your direction, you'll find your path. But early on, you might just be seen kind of as a aloof. A lot of people might see you as aloof, they don't really know what you're up to, or you're kind of here or there. That's just Pisces in your midheaven. You have a watery midheaven. Now, 11th house. 11th house is a house of community, a house of friendships. House is the house of hopes and dreams and wishes and things like that. But really, the 11th house is about everybody else, because the 1st house is about you, and like the 7th house is about a partner, but the 11th house is really about everybody. So when we have this house about everybody and we're putting Aries in it, you're putting yourself into a house that's supposed to be about everybody else. It's supposed to be a very humanitarian house, and we're putting you here. So like, you're going to be somebody who's very sociable, and you're going to like making a lot of friends, and you're gonna have like a lot of groups of friends, and you're gonna make friends very fast, because Aries is a very fast energy. So you're gonna make a lot of friends instantly. And the thing is though, these bonds with these people aren't very strong. They might be like very fast, but they can also die out very fast. And it really depends on like which ones you feed and keep going. But typically you make so many friends so quickly that they're not all necessarily very close. You have the energy and the drive to achieve all of those hopes and dreams that you have, and to do everything that you set out to do. But it's really about actually following through with it, because Aries is a cardinal energy, so it's very good at starting when you have hopes and dreams and ideas and things like that. But really, if you don't follow through with them, like that, they're never going to come to completion. Another thing I wanted to say about Aries in this house is I realize with a lot of Gemini risings is that a lot of times they make very many friends very quickly, because they come off to other people like they're very sure of themselves, and that's a very attractive quality, and people are really attracted to that quality when you're like really sure of yourself and very fiery around them. You're very social in group settings. There could be a million people around, and okay, let's not say a million people, let's say we go to a bar. The Gemini rising made friends with everybody in the bar when they might have even went there by themselves, because they have that initiative to go up to people, be social, and they're seen as very warm. Whether they stay friends with all those people, most likely they won't stay friends with all those people. Most likely they're just going to be acquaintances, if that makes any sense to you. If you can relate to that, let me know. 12th house, that's a house traditionally ruled by Neptune, traditionally ruled by Pisces. It's that dream realm house. It's that house of isolation, the house of the subconscious. What's going on in your head when you're dreaming, when you're daydreaming? What's going on in your head that you don't even know is going on in your head? This house really influences who you are in the first house. And you have Taurus here. So you're adding this Venus energy with Neptune. And like your security, your sense of security, stability, that indulgent part of you that is really indulgent into your senses, that sensual person, that calm person, that more like slower speech part of you, that all of those qualities are hidden. You don't see them. They're like kind of locked up in a box in your head, right? And even though they're hidden, they're still there. But because like all of these slow parts of you, all of these steady parts of you are like locked up, that's why you're so fast-paced in the first house. That's why you can be wishy-washy. And that's why you can be very like here or there, very into everything, because that part of you that just sits down and just does one thing and just focuses on one thing, and just goes slow and steady into one thing, that's locked up. This is another reason why Gemini risings are seen as very non-committal. Whether they are or they aren't, they give off a very non-committal vibe. And that's because the committal part of you, which is Taurus, the relationship part of you, it's hidden in the 12th house. And, you're gonna be very upbeat, very fast paced, and you're gonna be very, very, very hard to tie down. That's why you need somebody like a Sagittarius, who's also hard to tie down, to kind of like match you here. And in the first house, I mean, you'll need a Sag to match you, or someone with like a lot of Jupiterian energy. And Taurus is also a lot about beauty, a lot about how things look, right? About nice things and harmony and all those types of things. And well, kind of a little bit of harmony, but it's more about like stable long-term relationships and security, like material security. All of that is locked up also. So that's why in the first house, you're way more interested in mental stimulation. You're way more interested in what a person has to offer you intellectually and in terms of conversation than in terms of what they look like. Because when you have Taurus locked up in your 12th house, you know, it's like you don't really care what people look like as much as you care how they can converse with you. That quick banter, you know? Let me see if I wrote anything else here. Nope. That's all I wrote. So that is going to be all for this Gemini Rising video. If you feel like I missed anything, go ahead and let me know. It's a little late. I might have missed things. I might have been a little bit different in this video. Give it a thumbs up if you want. Ask me questions. I'll answer. I will catch you in the next one. The next one is Taurus Rising. Bye.